Looks like we know what we're doing, Walt.
Oh, I don't know about that. Well, another day in the woods. This is Thanksgiving week in 2021, and I'm continuing harvesting ash trees, some for sale, some for firewood. And there's plenty of them out there. There's one right there, and all the way down through the woods. They're just, the more I open up the woods, the more I find more of those trees. I guess that brings up kind of the feeling is on this particular week, this particular holiday, for me it's about being grateful for what you have versus the endless quest for things you'll never have. It's about the people in your world versus the stuff. That takes a long time for people to understand. This last 2 years has been kind of tough, and hammer that point home when you lose a couple of people in your world that are very important. Not going to go there, and also not going to go in politics. But what I am going to say is, first of all, the people who've been supporting my channel by watching this stuff, I really thank you for that, because I didn't expect to really have a channel. I really didn't want to be some guy up there doing how-tos and try to be an expert. Really, from the get-go, the channel is about just living life and sharing the experience. And originally it was for my kids, grandkids, and then it expanded to some friends, and now the channel obviously has got a few people who watch, so it's both scary and humbling at the same time, because I don't want people to put too much weight on, you know, my way of doing things. It's just what I do. I just show people what I do versus saying that's the right way or wrong way. I really enjoy running the old saw, so I like to share some of that. Some people will, some people won't. It might be interesting to some, not to others. I'm not driven by that. I'm kind of selfishly self-absorbed, just having fun with them and sharing it, and to the people who enjoy it, that's, you know, that's a good thing, right? So today, in that theme, yet again, thank you for the people who have supported the channel and who have tolerated my ramblings over the last few years. And today, I want to run my L77. I finally got that where I want it. I've got a period bar. It came from Bob. Thank you, Bob. And that saw came from Bob as well. So that's my backup saw. That's always my insurance policy. By the way, to those people who make fun of my saw sharpening technique, this one right here was sharpened this morning by Preferred. That's what I use when I'm in a pinch. And the other two toys for the channel is this, kind of like the chicken chit to chicken soup saws. That's what this was in terms of axes. I took this handle off one. This handle I have in my hand came from this particular axe. It's on that new handle. So I wanted to rehandle that one anyway, so I did. I really like the way it turned out. I'm not an axe person. These are things I use, but I had this old axe head that I had beaten to the point of uselessness, using it as a wedge, you know, something you're not supposed to do, but I do pretty consistently for the last probably 40 years. And this is what's left of the handle that originally came with that axe. Turns out this is a heck of a good wedge driver. So I'm going to do some modifications to it. I'm going to chop saw off the back so it's more square. And I may reshape this a little bit. I don't really need that much of a chopping edge. We'll see. I mean, it looks kind of cool the way it is, but why not? I got the tools. And had some friends over, and I'm very grateful for those three fellows who came and helped me out yesterday, and they helped open up that access I have up to the field, and they were helping pulling out the cables and hooking on, things like that. In terms of work today, I'm going to take down that one right there. It looks like it wants to fall that way, which I don't really care. And then there's a larger one back there. I'm going to see if I can get that one out. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. Felling technique. And why I do what I do. This right here actually is pretty interesting as a stump. This is my hinge, but notice even with that little hinge how much of a pull there was. You know what I'm saying? Had I had that all the way across, that would have been a big pull all the way up the tree, sometimes to the point of doing a barber chair. I always bore cut in from the front. I've done that for years and years now. And on a tree like this, to try to minimize the pulls, I don't know if you can see there, but I actually cut out some of the inside of the wedge. It was a very steep face cut. And the idea is I want that tree to be folded over, try to break the hinge versus actually have the tree run into something and then actually pull. But even then, you get that. So ash is different than pine and fir and a lot of the other trees. You got to deal with it differently. And part of it's because of the fibrous nature of the interior of that tree. How many pulls? It's about 30 degrees out, so let's see if we can do it in 4 pulls. Saw's cutting really nice, but there's a widowmaker up there and I'm worried about it, and I'm going to try to drop it that way. Now that widowmaker is going to come up and over and hit this tree here probably and come down, so maybe I better move the camera. Well, hopefully that'll be more graphic. I didn't cut that hinge quite far enough because the tree started moving. I wanted to get the heck out of there. But you can see where it pulled about to here, right there. Had I left a full hinge in there, see how it was pulling here, would have gone right up the heart of the tree. Sometimes that'll actually barber chair on you. So I've got that nice tree down. I'm going to go break it up a little bit, and then we'll try to pull it out with the tractor. All right, that one there is actually pretty big. It's bigger than it looks. I'm going to guess it's probably 26, 20 to 28 inches across at the base. And it's got a lot of branches, so that's a lot of firewood. There's some saw log in there, but more firewood. Might get 1, 2 possibly short saw logs. Rest of it's just going to be firewood. And I've got that little widowmaker right there I have to do something with. And I got to clean around the base. There's a fair amount to do there. Now, since I have the winch, the right way to do that widowmaker is to tie onto it with the winch and just pull it over. But that's not what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to show you what I'm going to do, so I'm going to turn the camera off. On that one there, you know, I'd rather have a longer bar, but I can get it with a 20 if the chain's pretty sharp. And since I'm running my L77, it has a 20-inch bar. That's what we're going to use. So, all right, cleaned up around the base. I cut myself an escape path, and I don't really like the direction I have here because I'm going to be dropping the tree at an angle where it'll still toss things back at me if it decides to do so. Now, if you look at this tree, the lean angle is that way. But there's enough stuff up on top to weight it the other way. And the good news and bad news is, good news is you can pretty much wedge it any way you want, because even though the lean of the trunk is that direction right there, there's more weight behind it with those overhanging branches, right? I don't know if that shows in the camera. So yeah, I'm going to wedge it over for sure. And I'm going to wedge it probably 15 degrees further that way in order to hit the smaller trees versus that soft maple right there, which is guaranteed to toss some of that dead stuff right back at me. And wow, that's a lot of firewood. Once I get that thing moving, I need to hustle all the way back out this way and try to get out to that little mud patch right there. And hopefully by that time nothing's coming back my way. Now, this tree right here is exactly why I do what I do, because I have time to get out of there because of the way I do my cuts. It takes time. I can see it moving, and it gives me a little time to get out of the way. And plus I don't have enough bar to do it the proper way. So I guess I'm just gonna set the camera, I don't know, somewhere over here so I can show my face cut, and then move it again when I do the back cut. And then you'll see me hustling out of there if it's moving. Let's see whether or not that little husky, well, big husky, will start. First pull. Like I said, the definition of a good saw. And I'm going to do a fair amount of cutting around the base in order to get rid of root flares and make it a little bit easier for me to make my hinge. So don't get nervous. There'll be a lot of droning going on. I run out of gas. So I'll go get the gas can, fill it up. See, the thing is with a job like this is fuel usage actually matters. I'm not into my second tree and I ran out of fuel. Now my 555, I can usually do about 4 trees of this size before I have to run out and fill it back up again. Pretty much exactly what I wanted it to do. So it didn't tear nothing out. It just broke right there. Broke right there cleanly. Didn't tear nothing right there. And now the work starts. Not bad for that little old saw, is it? 20-inch bar, it might be 18 inches. I'm going to guess that's, 20 inches that way, 26, 27 that way, maybe 28. Nice looking wood. Look how white that is. That's a nice ash right there. So let me block off some of these limbs. See how stressed they are? It's a little bit dangerous. I don't know if I'll be able to set the camera down to where I can show that, but that Uniforest has a serious amount of clutch to be able to handle that kind of load. He was pulling the tractor back a little. Let me step back a little bit and see if we can get this come the rest of the way.